Mm, mm, mm. Ah. All right, guys. So this is day 2 of me recording myself. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ivan Mata. I go by Nurse Mata. So I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start like a 30-day plan, right? I'm gonna be posting one video a day. Hopefully, it shouldn't be that much to edit. I'll post one video a day about my whole experience, being a nursing student at Unitek College. So for day 2, we have why I became an LVN in the first place, right? So I became, well, I don't know. I need to talk about my backstory. So after high school, didn't know what I really wanted to do, right? So I just went to a community college. I went to De Anza, just did my regular GE. I remember my mom brought it up to me. She's like, oh, you should just do nursing. And they had a nursing program there. So I was like, okay, I didn't think much of it. I was just like, whatever, let me just do my GE. Um, I kind of, messed up, didn't really do so good, didn't really care too much, didn't really have that drive until I believe I finished some classes there. I don't know if I stayed there for like a year, a little over a year at Dianza. And then I decided, I was like, okay, I really need to figure out what I'm going to do in my life. So that's when I don't remember when I started, but I transferred to Mission College. And I was like, well, I want to help people. So I was like, well, I should just be a firefighter. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be a firefighter. So I went to Mission College, um, did like my G's there, and then, or finished like most of them. And then I started the core classes for the fire protection technology classes. And then I ended up getting that whole associate's degree. And within that program, firefighters are EMT, so you become an EMT. So I remember there was a semester where it's like an EMT course or class, whatever. And I loved it. Like I fell in love with it. Like I've never been like so fascinated by learning, except one time where I was at Deanne's and I had like this geology teacher, and this guy, like the way he taught made me like very interested in rocks. It was weird. I don't know. But yeah, so the same thing that happened at Mission College, I had a great instructor, and the way he taught things, and I think it was just because I really wanted to learn it. And the more I learned, the more I started learning about the body and how the body works, basic anatomy, and you know everything within a scope of an EMT. I was so fascinated by it. It was my first time ever like learning anything about like medical knowledge. And I was like, dang, I was like, okay, like this is what I want to do, right? So um so then I do my EMT semester, right? I do all the EMT stuff. I take my test. I become certified with the county as a certified EMT, right? And this is like what, maybe spring. I forgot what year. I don't remember. I'll get back to that. Maybe like 2016. Dang, I can't remember. But then like, so where I messed up and where I didn't have the guidance and where I really wish I had some guidance. So hopefully whoever watches this, whatever healthcare, whatever you're doing, I messed up because I did my EMT semester, right? Became certified. And I was so focused on finishing my degree, getting my associate's degree. I was like, oh, cool, let me finish this and then I can start working on being a firefighter. So, okay, I wasn't working as EMT. I think I was still working at In-N-Out Burger. So I was working at In-N-Out, making fries, wrapping burgers. And then I realized I was okay, let me just finish this college. Let me just finish this degree. So a year goes by, right? I finished my EMT thing and a year goes by. And then randomly, like some guy at the gym one time, he was like, because I had like my EMT sweater. Because it's cool, you get like a sweater, a shirt with your name on it, EMT, Mission College. It's pretty cool. So I would work out in it. I was working out like American barbell back then. And I was bench pressing. And then some guy like went up to me. He's like, hey, like, are you an EMT? I was like, yeah, but I'm still like going to school, whatever. He's like, oh, do you want a job? I was like, what? So I was like, I was like, sure, why not? And then, cause I didn't think nothing of it. I had no guidance, I'm a first generation college student. So I was like, oh, sure, why not? A job. I wasn't even looking for a job, but sure, I think it'll be a good idea. I'm almost finishing my degree, whatever. And so then, yeah, he hooks me up with Royal Ambulance. So Royal Ambulance, it was a great company. But where I messed up, and this was on me, because that whole year I wasn't like studying. I was just doing like my fire classes, my major classes for fire protection technology. So I was studying for all that stuff. And I kind of lost like a good amount of knowledge that I should have known as an EMT within like a whole year. So I was like, dang. So like, I got hired. I was doing my FTO training, and like I felt dumb. Like I felt dumb because there were some things that I should have known, and I did know. I learned it, and I was like on top of everything. When I learned everything, it was fresh in my head. But because a whole year went by, it just like some things were just like gone, and I was like, dang. I was like, okay, how am I gonna get through this FTO? I need to know this stuff, when I'm transporting patients, simple stuff like that. And I try to like study during my FTO, but it was like long hours. I think they were like 12-hour shifts. And that was my first like full-time job. I was always working. My first job was at In-N-Out Burger, 2015 to 2019. And then after that, I was worked there for 4 years. And after I got my EMT job, and I remember it was like January, I guess January to 2019 or March, I forgot what. So then I was doing my FTO, and there were long. It was my first time working 12-hour shifts, like big shifts, and there were long shifts. I also used to working like part-time 4-hour shifts, sometimes 8 hours, but mostly like 4-hour shifts. And that was tough. It was tough on me because it was my first time, and the hours were long. And I remember getting out so late and staying overtime because it was my first time to charting, like documenting. We didn't really, I think, go over like too much during the EMT classes I have, but I'm sure we did, but maybe not extensively, because we mostly like, I had the skills down. I was confident in my skills, whatever, but just some medical knowledge. And then the documenting was a big problem for me. And I didn't really know how to type. I would always like type like this. So I was like, okay, I got to teach myself. I need to start typing. I had to learn how to type. So I went on typing.com, started on my laptop, just practicing. And I got like a good flow pretty fast. This was all while I'm doing like my FTO, right? So I'm like, shoot, I'm trying not to get fired. So I'm trying to retain knowledge. I'm trying to study my EMT books. I'm trying to learn how to type so I could document faster. And obviously I'm getting used to their system. It's a whole new system for me. Everything's brand new. So I'm like, dang. I'm like, okay. Well, I just kept like, I wasn't confident, and I was showing up to work like, oh, I hate this. I was dreading it. And then I felt horrible. And I was like, dude, like, I knew this stuff and now I don't. And I was getting my ass kicked. So I was like, dang, okay. I was like, you know what? Let me just take a step back. So I decided to quit. And then I wanted to study because I wanted to really make sure like I knew my stuff. I wanted to be, a confident healthcare worker, and I wanted to be competent in the things that I should know. So I was like, okay, let me take a step back. So I took a step back, and I just got like a retail job, and I was trying to study. And then I got like kind of sidetracked. I got like whatever about it, because then I was like, okay, maybe I should be a cop, right? And I remember Sunnyvale, the city of Sunnyvale, their department, they're firefighter and cops. So they go through like 3 different academies: fire academy, police academy, and EMT academy. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do that. I already have my fire associate's degree. I could just take the Pella B or whatever to be a cop. I already have my EMT. I was like, so that was my mindset. I was like, okay, I'll shoot for that. So then I was like, and then 2 years go by because I'm just still working at my job, and I'm just like, and I had a conversation with a friend, and he was still going to school, and he was telling me about his whole path, his career path. And then I just remember like that conversation like really like got to me. And I'm like, dude, like, what have I been doing for the past 2 years, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, I need to do something. So then I'm like, okay, like I don't want to like redo all that again, right? And and that's when I remember like, maybe I should go back to nursing. So that's when I try to do like some research, and I try to like go on YouTube. Obviously, there's YouTube videos, but I was trying to find things about different colleges, and I already had my associate's degree, and I realized like how competitive, like it's very competitive to go to a university. So I would have to get all these things. I would have to do more prerequisites. I was like, damn, I don't want to do all this. And like, I think like some expire, so I had to retake some. I was like, dang, I already did hella good, and I had to retake them. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, maybe like 25, 26 at this time. And I'm just like, I'm getting old. To me, I don't know. I was like, I'm getting old, man. So I was like, okay, let me try to find some accelerated programs, some fast. I don't know how I came across Unitek College, but I think I found it online or something because it was like accelerated program. And I was like, oh, what is this? LVN, Licensed Vocational Nurse Program, 1 year program, an accelerated program. And I was like, what? I could be a nurse in a year compared to like if I would have, because I thought about it, right? I was like, okay, I'm already 25. To me, I'm like, I need to get like my career started. So instead of um, trying to do my prerequisites, applying to a university, waiting, whatever, doing my T's, by the time I would have done all that, if I would have done this, if I'd done this program, I thought about, I was like, okay, I could already be a nurse in 1 year, or I can just try to go to university, do my prereqs, and then apply, and then hopefully get in, right? I was like, you know what? This seems like the better option for me. So that's why I chose Unitek. So I reached out to them, and I did the process very fast. So I'm very impatient when it comes to things, and I want to do things like right away. So I was like, oh, what do I need to do? I want to do this now, whatever. So, and I was like trying to figure out like how much is this? I'm trying to get information. So it's kind of hard to get the information till you like actually talk to them and fill out all these things and you're serious about it, and then they'll give you the information. They're very thorough and they do explain everything. They do like a whole orientation or whatever. And I was like, and then it came to like the price, and it was like 40,000. It was like 40 grand. And I was like, damn. I was like, I don't want student loans. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I figured all that out, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. It's 1 year. I'll be a nurse. I'll be an LVN. So then I had to look up, what's the difference with an LVN and RN, right? Bunch of things are different. Some small little things I believe are, well, there's a difference. I'll make a whole separate video about that. So yeah. So okay, I was like, cool. I'm gonna do this program 1 year. I did it. I started 2023. It was like January. My cohort SJ1, and it was 1 year program. It was a great program. And the thing is, so there's different programs for it, right? So with Unitek College, the LVM program, there's a full-time and a part-time. The full-time was Monday through Friday, and it was like 8 to 5, I think. Yeah, like 8 to 5. And mostly we stayed like 8 to 5 because there's like a lot of, because it's accelerated, right? So there's like a bunch of things you're going through. And maybe I'll like talk about like in depth more about the LVM program for people who are interested. But yeah, so it was Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The part-time I know now is like from like, I don't know, 4 or 5 p.m., like 5, I want to say, I don't know, but maybe like from like 5 to 9 or 5 to 10. I'm not too sure. It's just like what I've heard. So I was like, nah, I'm going to do the full-time, just get it done in with a year. Because the part-time, I think it's like a year and a half, I think. It's like a year and a half, something like that. But the full-time was 1 year. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this program. And it was cool. It was actually pretty cool because, Monday through Friday, we're there with the same cohort and we're all learning together. So and my class was like really good. We all got together. We all helped each other. So that was really good because I heard like a lot of things about other cohorts, how like, they don't really get along, or people have their own little cliques. And you'll hear that about like Unitek College, like people like have like their own friend groups or whatever. But I was, in a great cohort. Everyone helped each other. And I think that's how it should be for all cohorts, because with my cohort, everyone passed. Like everyone passed that program, and it's because for a fact that we all helped each other. There were some people who like stood out more, that contributed more, and like helped out like more people like who really needed like the help. And the thing is, the program, it's like it's very doable with, I'll talk about this later, but I worked full time during that program too. It's doable. It's doable. There's no excuses. I did it. It's very manageable. But yeah, I'll talk about that a whole another time. I got carried away. So, so why I became an LVN, right? Pretty much the hands-on experience. So I thought about it. I was like, okay, 1 year, boom, I became a nurse. 2024. I took my NCLEX March. Like I think we finished January or February, and then I took my NCLEX in March and I passed. And that same month I passed, I got a job at a skilled nursing facility, which I've been ever since. So I'm coming up on almost 2 years. In 2026 in March, I'll be coming up on my 2 years. And within that time, I knew that they had like an advanced placement program is what they called it. So it's like a bridge program, they call it. It's like LVN to BSN. And they said you also get like a discount too because you're like an alumni. So you get like a cool discount. I forgot the price. I don't know. I forgot. I'll look it up if anyone's interested. But you get like a discount. It's pretty cool. And it's like, I recently heard that they have the traditional BSN, like straight BSN. I think it's like 3 years, like no experience. You just go, you get your bachelor's, whatever, you're a nurse. But I think, and there was a lot of people in my cohort actually who were like older. They were much older. There was a lot of CNAs who already had that kind of exposure, and they did really good in clinicals, and they kind of like knew some things. And they were older. They were like 30s, 40s, and we all passed. We were all doing it together. So it's not too late. Like I was saying, like I was talking to myself like, dang, I'm 25, 26, whatever. I'm getting old. I need to start my career. But then, when I was exposed to like my classmates, they're 30s, 40s, they're CNAs, some had some language barriers where, English wasn't their first, language, and they have like an accent, but they're still good people. They still know their stuff. They still did the program. So that's why I believe that program is for everyone. With no experience, no medical experience. I had some with the EMT exposure, but even there was people with no medical experience. Like Unitek will. The thing is, I've heard a lot of things from like other people who went to like universities, and I've heard like things where like, oh, like hospitals, they frown upon like for-profit schools like Unitek or whatever, private schools, whatever. But then I see like some people coming from good schools where, it's questionable, right? So I feel like it depends on the person, not the school, because the school provides you everything you need, technically, like everything. They give a lot of resources. That's why I recommend, if you have the money, don't work, focus on school, study. Like if you're young, I say do it because you don't have bills, whatever. But if you got bills, try to work part-time. So that way you're able to like learn the knowledge and actually retain it. I think the most important thing is retaining the knowledge. And me, I had to work, so I had to pay my stuff. I managed to do it full-time, no problem. I still had things to do on the side. I still had a life. Obviously, my number one priority was school, and I think it's doable. I think it's very manageable. I think if you tell yourself that, oh, I can't do it, it's too hard, I got too much stuff going on, I think you're just making excuses for yourself, to be honest. Because like I'm currently right now, I have a lovely wife, 15-month-old. I'm gonna expect another baby in February 2026, 202. I'm working full time, going through this BSN program. I got a lot on my plate too, but if you make time for what you want, and it's very manageable. But one thing I do want to mention, I wish I had the guidance. Whatever, decision you're doing, whether it's medical field or whatever, I say try to get that exposure. So that's the same process. I thought I was like, okay, with my AMT, I didn't go and get a job. I waited and I lost that knowledge. And I'm like, I don't know. Some knowledge, it just disappeared. Like with this LVN, boom, I took my NCLEX, boom, I looked for a job, got a job right away, started working. Takes you about what, 2 months, 3 months maybe to get it down, working in a skilled nurse facility to learn how to navigate, to do everything on your own, because you're a charge nurse, you're in charge of all these patients. And so then I was like, okay, let me start doing my prereqs. So I'm working, and my prereqs were online for Unitek, so it's manageable. And with this BSN program, it's pretty manageable too. I'm still going off topic, but yeah, so LVN, it was a strategic path. It wasn't like a whatever. I think it also helps me, like during this program, all that stuff I already have knowledge of, it correlates. It kind of like, it comes together. And I think it made it easier for me for this program, because I guess I do have to study, but it's like some things I already know, and like the way they have their tests and everything. I'll go over that like later on, like tips and tricks. But I highly recommend it. If you're thinking about the medical field, whatever, you think about being a nurse, I always like, I don't know why, I just like, and I've heard it too, like other people who went to Unitek at my job, there's a few people, there's a lot of people actually that went to Unitek or are currently going to Unitek and work there. And we kind of all like, it's not like we're like, we represent it because we're like, we know what's like, and we like to push people. Like I like to like tell CNAs, if I see a good CNA, hardworking CNA, I'm gonna tell them like, hey man, like why don't you just be a nurse? Like, no, I got kids and I'm already kind of old. I got stuff going on. I'm like, dude, but this program is just 1 year program. It's like, it's not too late. Trust me, like it's 1 year, and you're a nurse. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it if you stayed all the way. Like I said, this is number 2 video out of 30. I'm gonna try to post 1 video every day for 30 days and try to get all this information out as soon as I can. But yeah, really appreciate it if you stuck around. Let me know if you guys want to hear something specific about Unitek, any questions, just comment down below and let me know. Thank you.